Robert, I want to have a conversation about Benjamin Sesko because for me, he's a player who, listen, on the back of the Burnley game or before the Burnley game and while the game was going on, he was getting a lot of criticism from Gary Neville and Tim Sherwood, and I think I wanted to have a conversation and give my thoughts really on Sesko so far this season at Manchester United. Now, by no sort of standard, it hasn't been a great season by Sesko, a player that's come in for a lot of money and a lot of pressure has been put on him straight away. In my opinion, I believe Manchester United should have got out and got an experienced player, but ultimately Sesko come in for a lot of money, and I think he did struggle. Obviously, he didn't kind of play straight away. I think his debut was a bit late. He was coming on getting minutes, but I think what we've seen in the last game, in particular, in the last few games, he isn't a similar Hoyland, and I think I was wrong in saying that. Yes, his stats don't look great for Manchester United, and it was a lot expected of him when he did join the club, but if you look at sort of the games in which he's played, he's got 4 goals, 1 assist in 17 games. Now, again, I think the criticism of Gary Neville, I know this was a few months ago as well. He said he looks out of place, he looks a bit awkward. And yes, at times in the Burnley game, he did struggle. He should have had a hat trick easily. There were plenty of chances for him, and the ball wasn't sticking to him. But again, you have to remember, he's 22 or 23. He's come to a new league for a lot of money, a lot of expectation in a United team that's struggling. He's now on to his second manager at the club. But again, he said he needs to do his job better, and I think listen, he had 7 shots on target in that game against Burnley, the most a player has had in the Premier League this season. And again, listen, I think the goals will come with Sesko. I think it's a matter of time. I mean, that the finishes that he scored, they were 2 very great finishes, 2 very different finishes as well. I mean, the first one was just an instinctive, a cross goal finish. The second one obviously was world class, and I think that's what we know, and that's what we've seen of Sesko and what players like Dorgu can do. So yeah, listen, I think ultimately Sesko is a player for me who there's a lot of potential there, and I don't think I've seen a lot of development in him. He's certainly someone who wants to do well, and Amarim has said he's a player who is obsessed with football, obsessed with playing games, and I think he's definitely a player that Manchester United need to develop. Is a lot we've seen with Hoyland. He come in 2 different or 3 different managers. No, 2 different managers. I think. Yeah. Ooh. No, I think 2 different managers. Anyway, went through quite a few managers, didn't get developed, loaned out. He's looking good now. I think with Sesko, he's a raw talent that needs to kind of be progressed, and I think that's something that Amram didn't do to him at all. Now, whoever that manager is, I think Ollie coming in would potentially be a good move for him personally. But yeah, it's definitely good seeing what Sesko's doing, and I think he will become a top player. I think the potential's there, the quality there, and there has been glimpses. I mean, there's been some very good games from Sesko. I thought the Chelsea game was very, very good. Um, like he's a physical player, he can win flick ons, but he's also very good at the ball and he can actually hold up the ball. I thought the game against Brentford where we scored, he was good. Obviously, Sunderland got the goal. Burnley, yes, it's a relegation team, and people have a going at me for saying that, but ultimately, for how poor Sesko has been at times, I think he has massively stepped up. And I've been critical of him in terms of saying we haven't seen a lot of good enough performances for him for a player that's come in. But again, first season at United, 4 goals in the Premier League. I think in terms of aims going on, we've got 17 or 16 games left of the league. He should be getting to 10 goals in this first season. I think that'd be good for him, and then you can potentially build on that. And again, I've been relatively pleased with what we've seen in the last game. But hopefully, he can kick on. I mean, the United next few games are very, very tough. I think it's Brighton, Arsenal, City, and then Fulham. So some tough games coming up. But I'm hoping he can get the job done. And I think, I mean, the criticism just so unneeded for a legend as well, like Gary Neville of the football club. Like when you listen to him, you wouldn't think that he played for Manchester United all that time because he's just ripping into the players. And some of it's right. Pardon me. The way that he talks about the ownership and the way that he talks about the manager situation, I think that's right. But when he's going after a player that's 22, coming to a new league, he's got pressure from the external media as well. And then you get ex players and someone of Gary Neville. Um, yeah, that is very, very frustrating. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments on Sesko. I think it's been a difficult season for him. The last game was very, very promising. Hopefully, he can build on this and take that momentum now into the next few games because we need that from him. Shout out to him. He looked good in the last game, but again, it is only one game. It's a small sample size, and he must take it going forward now into the Arsenal game, into the City game, into the FA Cup game, because I certainly think there's a player there. And as I said, the aims would be to progress him, develop him, and ultimately not have him end up like another Hoyland. And I think United are playing to his strengths. They are putting crosses into the box. I would love to see a stat on how many crosses were put into the box yesterday in that game, because there were loads. I mean, Shaw put in a few, Dorgu put in a few. Obviously, one of them that led to the goal. So yeah, there were chances in that game for Sesko, and I think we are. I think the one criticism would be towards the start of the season that we weren't playing to his strengths because we weren't putting crosses into the box, and ultimately we weren't doing a good enough job. So yeah, that is the latest on Sesko. I thought this needs to be said, and I think that's a good conversation to have about Sesko. There's still a lot of room for improvement, as we know, but the initial signs of what we've seen in the first sort of couple of months from him at the club are definitely promising, and he needs to kick on from here because, again, one, two, three games, good games a season is not good enough for a United player. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Sesko and what have you made of his time so far at Manchester United.